Welcome to your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit. Today, we're diving into the turbulence shaking NATO, not from Moscow's maneuvers or Beijing's rise, but from Washington itself. Since returning to the White House, Donald Trump has demanded allies spend 5% of GDP on defense, threatening consequences for those who don't. The ripple effects are massive. Switzerland's rethinking its F-35 deal, Germany's diversifying its arsenal, and Canada's caught in the middle. What was once an alliance built on unity now runs on pressure and politics. Buckle up. These are the key developments redefining NATO's future. NATO under siege. Trump's 5% ultimatum reshapes the alliance. Trump's return to the White House has rattled Brussels to its core. No longer content with the traditional 2% defense spending rule, he's demanding 5% of GDP, a leap so steep it would gut healthcare and education budgets across Europe. His blunt ultimatum? Pay 5% or pay the price. Behind closed doors, Washington is warning of tariffs, trade penalties, or even suspension from NATO committees for non-compliance. What was once a bond of trust now feels like a subscription plan. Renew your payments or lose your protection. Diplomats call it a protection racket in all but name. Trump's own words, "They buy from us because we make the best," underline how partnership has become procurement. The shift is seismic. NATO unity now rests not on shared values, but on invoices. Ironically, Trump's push for strength may be fueling Europe's independence drive, forcing allies to rethink whether Washington is still a stabilizer or the new source of instability. But the tension doesn't stop at budgets and alliances. It's also taking flight in the skies with one jet that's now become both a technological marvel and a political weapon. The F-35 paradox, from Allied triumph to tactical dependency. The F-35 Lightning II was meant to embody Western unity, a stealth jet connecting Allied air forces through shared technology. Instead, it's become a symbol of dependency. Built by Lockheed Martin, it boasts radar-evading stealth, advanced sensors, and data fusion capabilities. But every line of its software is controlled by the United States. That control means allies can't modify or upgrade their jets without U.S. approval. Spare parts, patches, and mission data all flow through Pentagon channels, creating what analysts call a sustainment monopoly. Washington holds the keys, and when politics sour, so can access. Alternatives like Sweden's Gripen E and the Eurofighter Typhoon offer more autonomy and easier maintenance, though with less stealth. Yet the F-35's true power lies in politics. Owning one signals loyalty to Washington. Rejecting it risks diplomatic frost. The debate isn't about performance anymore, it's about control. As Trump wields defense contracts like trade weapons, even allies now see the F-35 less as a shield and more as a leash. But before we delve deeper, do us a favor. Smash that like and subscribe button. It helps Piston Pundit reach more enthusiasts who want to understand how machines, money, and military might all collide. Now let's shift gears and head to the country where this F-35 storm first erupted. Switzerland's F-35 fallout, neutrality tested in America's tariff crossfire. Neutral Switzerland's F-35 deal has turned into a textbook case of procurement gone wrong. In 2020, voters narrowly approved 36 F-35A jets for 6 billion francs at what was promised to be a fixed price. But by 2024, Washington quietly admitted there was no fixed price at all. Rising material costs and Trump's 39% tariff on Swiss imports detonated the budget. By mid-2025, costs had ballooned by 1.3 billion francs, and over half of Swiss voters now want to cancel the deal entirely. Lawmakers are calling for a referendum, while Defense Minister Martin Pfister faces pressure to pivot toward European jets. A September 2025 audit revealed contract misunderstandings and vague Pentagon inflation clauses, fueling public anger. The economy has already slipped 0.2%, with tariffs partly to blame. Despite the chaos, Bern insists deliveries will proceed in 2027 with the delayed Block 4 software, though delays persist globally. Switzerland's dilemma raises a crucial question. Can neutrality coexist with dependency? Many Europeans now believe the answer lies in defense independence, and one major power has already started down that path. Germany's dual strategy, balancing NATO duty and European independence. Germany has shifted gears from full NATO standardization to a dual-track defense strategy. While Berlin ordered 35 F-35s for NATO nuclear sharing duties, it also bought 20 Eurofighter Typhoons worth €4 billion and invested heavily in the Franco-German-Spanish Future Combat Air System, FCAS. The result? A fleet built for both interoperability and independence. This dual strategy now guides Europe's broader defense playbook. Cooperate with the US when needed, but never depend on it entirely. It's a calculated hedge against political whiplash from Washington. Meanwhile, the EU plans to spend €800 billion on defense by 2030, reserving over 55% of contracts for European firms. Programs like the Drone Defense Initiative, Eastern Flank Watch, and Air and Space Shield are already underway. Challenges remain. Europe faces a shortage of 600,000 defense workers and still depends on China for rare earth materials. But unity is growing. For the first time since the Cold War, Europe's preparing not for Russia's aggression, but for America's unpredictability. And across the Atlantic, another ally is taking notes. Canada is quietly questioning how much trust it can still place in Washington's promises. Canada's F-35 Crossroads, between US loyalty and industrial survival. Canada faces a similar dilemma, just at a slower pace. Prime Minister Mark Carney has ordered a review of Ottawa's $27.7 billion Canadian F-35 deal for 88 jets, though 16 are already in motion. Deputy Defense Minister Stephanie Beck told Parliament the project remains full steam ahead, but Carney's review shows growing unease about relying too heavily on US hardware amid tariffs and political turbulence. The 2017 Boeing Bombardier feud still haunts Canadian policymakers, a reminder that US politics can easily bleed into defense. That's why Ottawa is now eyeing European projects like the UK's Tempest and Sweden's Gripen E. Analysts suggest a mixed fleet approach, maintaining F-35s for NORAD and NATO duties while adopting European jets to reduce vulnerability. But time is running out. Canada's aging CF-18s are due for retirement by the early 2030s, creating pressure to modernize quickly without losing sovereignty. As one official put it, every dollar spent abroad is a dollar not invested in our own industry. And that brings us to the larger picture, how the F-35, once a symbol of unity, has turned into the ultimate test of Western trust. Verdict: the F-35's flight path from unity to unease. The F-35 was supposed to unify the West through shared technology. Instead, it's become the litmus test for loyalty. Switzerland feels betrayed by broken promises. Germany is hedging for autonomy, and Canada is hesitating at the crossroads of dependency. Trump's 5% defense ultimatum has accelerated Europe's drive to build its own €860 billion defense complex, one increasingly sealed off from American contractors. The takeaway is clear. When alliances become transactions, partners turn independent. By turning cooperation into commerce, Washington may have ignited an era of self-reliance it didn't intend. The F-35 remains a technological marvel, but its biggest threat isn't rival jets, it's political fatigue. Europe and Canada are rewriting their flight paths, proving that air dominance today isn't about who builds the best stealth, but who controls their own sky. Now it's your turn. Do you think Germany's dual strategy is the new model for Allied defense, or just a short-term fix? Should Canada follow Europe's lead and build its own aerospace industry? And has the F-35 become more of a diplomatic burden than a defense asset? Drop your thoughts below. Your insights fuel our next discussion. If you enjoy deep dives into the machines that move our world and the politics that steer them, hit subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss the next update from Piston Pundit. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, keep those engines running smooth. You can now check out any of the videos on screen. There's plenty more to explore.